Captain Jake Morrison stared at the endless void of space through the bridge windows of the UES Defender. 30 years had passed since humanity first met the aliens, and still the sight of distant stars filled him with wonder. The Galactic Coalition had welcomed humans into their community, but Jake often wondered if the price they paid was worth it. The Treaty of Proxima Centauri hung over every human like a dark cloud. No warships above frigate class. No weapons research beyond what the Coalition approved. No military expansion without permission from 12 different alien species. Jake commanded one of only 12 human frigates allowed to exist, and even these small ships required Coalition observers on every mission. "Captain, we're approaching the debris field," reported his navigator, Lieutenant Danny Hughes. The young officer had joined the crew fresh from the academy, full of dreams about exploring the galaxy. Those dreams had faded quickly when he learned the truth about humanity's place in the galactic order. Jake nodded and activated the ship's scanners. 3 days ago, the Viridian research station Bright Hope had gone silent. The Coalition claimed it was a simple technical failure, but something felt wrong. The Viridians were the oldest and most powerful species in the Coalition, and their technology rarely failed without reason. "Lisa, what are you seeing down there?" Jake called to his chief engineer over the comm system. Lisa Park's voice crackled back from the engine room. "The readings are strange, Captain. There's a lot of metal debris, but also some kind of energy signature I don't recognize. It's like nothing I've seen before." The Defender moved slowly through the wreckage field. Pieces of the once proud research station floated silently in space, twisted metal and broken hull plates telling a story of sudden and violent destruction. Jake had seen station failures before, but this looked different. This looked like a battle. "Captain, I'm picking up a distress beacon," Hughes reported. "It's weak, but it's definitely Viridian." "Take us closer, but keep the shields up," Jake ordered. Something about this whole situation made him nervous. The Coalition had been very specific about humans staying away from Viridian military technology, yet here they were, investigating what remained of an alien research facility. Lisa's voice came through the comm again. "Captain, you need to see this. I'm sending the data to your screen now." Jake looked at his display and felt his blood run cold. The debris wasn't just random wreckage. The metal showed signs of weapons fire, but not from any human technology. These were Coalition weapons used against a Coalition station. The burn patterns were consistent with Zaref pulse cannons and Nereid plasma torpedoes. "Lisa, are you sure about this data?" Jake asked. "I've run it through the computer 3 times, Captain. This station was attacked by Coalition forces, not destroyed by accident." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Why would Coalition species attack their own research station? And why had they lied about it being a technical failure? "Sir, I'm detecting a small object about 2 kilometers off our starboard bow," Hughes reported. "It appears to be an intact data storage unit." "Take us to it," Jake ordered. "Lisa, prepare the cargo bay for retrieval." Minutes later, they had the Viridian data unit safely aboard the Defender. Lisa worked quickly to bypass the alien security systems, her fingers dancing across her computer interface. She had always been good with alien technology, a skill that had made her valuable to the Coalition observers who watched every human move. "Got it," Lisa announced. "The encryption is military grade, but I think I can crack it." "Give me an hour." Jake paced the bridge while Lisa worked. Something was very wrong here, and he could feel it in his bones. The Coalition had always treated humans like dangerous children, restricting their movements and limiting their technology. But if Coalition species were fighting among themselves, what did that mean for humanity? An hour later, Lisa's excited voice filled the bridge. "Captain, you need to get down here right now. This data changes everything." Jake hurried to the engineering section where Lisa had set up her computer workstation. Her face was pale, and her hands shook slightly as she pointed to the screen. The research station wasn't just studying star formation like they claimed, Lisa said. They were developing new weapons specifically designed to destroy human ships. And that's not the worst part. She pulled up another file, and Jake felt his world shift beneath his feet. The document was titled Operation Cleansing Protocol and bore the official seals of 7 Coalition species. "They're planning to eliminate us," Lisa whispered. "All of us. Every human colony, every human ship, every human life in the galaxy." The research station was developing the tools to make it look like a natural disaster. Jake read through the files with growing horror. The Coalition had never intended to honor the Treaty of Proxima Centauri. The restrictions on human military development weren't for galactic peace. They were to ensure that when the time came, humanity would be defenseless. The plan was elegant in its cruelty. Coalition forces would release a manufactured plague on human colonies, claiming it was a dangerous pathogen that required complete sterilization. Human ships would be destroyed while trying to evacuate civilians. Within months, humanity would be extinct, and the galaxy would remember them as a tragic species that fell victim to their own biological carelessness. "How long do we have?" Jake asked. Lisa scrolled through more files. "According to this timeline, Operation Cleansing Protocol begins in 18 months. They're already positioning ships and preparing the biological weapons." Jake felt anger burning in his chest. For 30 years, humans had followed every rule, respected every restriction, and trusted in the Coalition's promises of protection. And all along, they had been preparing for humanity's destruction. "We have to warn Earth," Jake said. "The Coalition monitors all our communications," Lisa replied. "They'll know we found this data the moment we try to transmit it." Jake looked at the evidence of humanity's planned extinction and made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "Then we take it to them personally. Plot a course for Earth, maximum speed." "Captain, that will take us through 3 Coalition checkpoints," Hughes warned. "I don't care," Jake said firmly. "Humanity deserves to know the truth, even if it costs us everything." As the Defender turned toward home, Jake Morrison didn't know that his discovery would spark the greatest rebellion the galaxy had ever seen. He only knew that sometimes the most important rules were the ones that needed to be broken. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had always questioned the treaty. Working at the Titan shipyards for 15 years had shown her exactly how limited human technology was forced to remain. Every design she created had to pass through Coalition approval boards. Every innovation had to be reviewed by alien observers. Every breakthrough was either rejected or stolen by species that claimed to be humanity's protectors. The message from Captain Morrison reached Earth through secret channels that Elena had helped establish years ago. When she read about Operation Cleansing Protocol, she felt sick to her stomach. All her suspicions had been correct. The Coalition had never intended to let humanity survive. Elena sat in her small apartment overlooking the shipyards and opened her encrypted communication device. The network she was about to contact had been growing quietly for 5 years. Scientists, engineers, military officers, and factory workers who refused to accept humanity's chains. They called themselves the Free Human Movement, and Elena was one of their founding members. "This is Rodriguez," she typed into the secure channel. "Emergency meeting tonight. Location 7. The captain was right about everything." Within hours, 23 people gathered in an abandoned warehouse on the edge of New Houston. Elena recognized most of the faces. Maria Santos, who supervised the main assembly lines at the shipyards. Ryan Clark, an intelligence officer who worked with Coalition communication systems. Kevin Blake, a former Coalition liaison who had quit when he learned too much about alien plans for humanity. "Friends, what Captain Morrison discovered changes everything," Elena began. "The Coalition isn't just limiting our military development. They're preparing to eliminate us entirely." She shared the data from the destroyed research station. The room fell silent as the assembled humans read about their species' planned extinction. Maria Santos was the first to speak. "How long have we been building ships for them while they plan to kill us?" Maria asked, her voice filled with anger. "Too long," Kevin Blake replied. "I worked with them for 8 years. I should have seen this coming. The way they talked about humans when they thought I wasn't listening. The secret meetings I was never invited to. They've been planning this since first contact." Ryan Clark leaned forward in his chair. "I've been monitoring their communications for months. There are patterns I couldn't understand before, but now they make sense. Fleet movements, resource allocations, biological research projects. It's all connected to Operation Cleansing Protocol." Elena pulled up a holographic display showing the shipyards. "We've been following their rules for 30 years, building only what they allow. But what if we stopped following their rules? What if we built what we need to survive?" "That's treason against the treaty," someone called out. "The treaty is already broken," Elena replied. "They broke it the moment they decided to exterminate us. We're not bound by agreements with people who plan to murder us." Maria Santos stood up. "I control 3 major assembly lines. I know every worker, every supervisor, every security guard. We could modify the production schedules without the Coalition observers noticing. Instead of building cargo haulers, we build warships. The materials alone would be impossible to hide, another engineer objected. Not if we're smart about it, Elena said. She had been thinking about this problem for years. We use existing construction projects as cover. The coalition approved construction of 6 new mining platforms in the asteroid belt. What if those platforms were actually warship production facilities? Ryan Clark nodded slowly. I can modify the supply manifests in the computer systems. Make it look like we're shipping mining equipment when we're really shipping weapons components. Kevin Blake added. And I know which coalition observers can be bribed or distracted. Not all of them are completely loyal to the Empire. Elena activated another holographic display, this one showing a sleek warship design she had been working on in secret. This is the HSS Liberty, a battlecruiser that combines human engineering with reverse-engineered alien technology. It's faster than anything in the Coalition fleet, with armor that can absorb energy weapons and kinetic weapons that can punch through their shields. The assembled group stared at the design in amazement. The Liberty was everything the treaty forbade humans to build. It was large, heavily armed, and designed specifically for combat against Coalition forces. How long would it take to build? Maria asked. With the right resources and enough people, 18 months, Elena replied. But we can't build just one ship. We need a fleet. A fleet? Kevin Blake looked nervous. Elena, if they catch us building one warship, they'll destroy every human colony. If they catch us building a fleet, they're going to destroy every human colony anyway, Elena said firmly. At least this way we have a chance to fight back. Ryan Clark had been quiet, studying the ship design on his portable computer. This quantum drive system, where did you get the specifications? Elena smiled. From Coalition technical manuals that I wasn't supposed to have access to. Turns out their security isn't as good as they think. I've been collecting alien technology data for years. And you never shared this with the Coalition? Maria asked. Why should I? They steal everything we develop. It's time we return the favor. Elena pulled up a galactic map showing human space. We have 17 major shipyards and 43 smaller facilities. If we coordinate properly, we can build a fleet of 20 ships without the Coalition realizing what we're doing until it's too late. The meeting continued for 6 hours as they planned the greatest secret construction project in human history. They would need trusted workers at every facility. They would need to divert massive amounts of materials without detection. They would need to develop new technologies in hidden laboratories. Most importantly, they would need to do all of this while the Coalition watched their every move. This is dangerous, Kevin Blake said as the meeting wound down. If we're caught, they'll execute all of us and probably our families too. If we don't try, they'll execute all of us anyway, Elena replied. Along with every other human in the galaxy. Maria Santos looked around the room at the faces of her fellow conspirators. My grandmother used to tell stories about the old wars on Earth. She said that sometimes people have to fight for the right to exist. I never thought I'd live to see a time when humans had to fight for that right again. Elena closed the holographic displays and packed her equipment. Operation Cleansing Protocol begins in 18 months. That gives us 18 months to save our species. We start tomorrow. As the conspirators left the warehouse and returned to their normal lives, none of them knew they were beginning a revolution that would change the galaxy forever. They only knew that freedom was worth any risk and that some fights were too important to avoid. Commander Ben Taylor stood in the hidden construction bay carved deep inside asteroid designation Echo 7. 12 months had passed since the Free Human Movement began their secret project, and the sight before him still amazed him every day. The HSS Liberty floated in the center of the massive space, nearly complete and more beautiful than any ship he had ever seen. The asteroid had been hollowed out over 8 months by mining crews who thought they were extracting rare metals. In reality, they were creating the most important shipyard in human history. The Liberty was not alone in the hidden facility. 3 other warships neared completion in adjacent bays, each one representing a different approach to fighting the Coalition. Commander, the quantum drive is ready for initial testing, reported Chief Engineer Sam Mitchell. The young man had volunteered for the project after learning about Operation Cleansing Protocol. Like many humans, Sam refused to accept extinction without a fight. Ben nodded and activated his communication device. Elena, we're ready for the first quantum drive test. Are the other facilities prepared? Dr. Elena Rodriguez's voice came through the encrypted channel from her position at the main coordination center on Mars. All 17 shipyards are standing by. If this works, we'll know that human ships can outrun anything the Coalition has. The quantum drive was Elena's greatest innovation. By combining human understanding of space-time physics with stolen Coalition technology, she had created a propulsion system that could move ships faster than light, without using the standard hyperspace lanes that the Coalition monitored. If the drive worked, human ships could appear anywhere in the galaxy without warning. Beginning quantum drive activation, Sam announced. The Liberty's engines hummed to life, creating a sound that seemed to vibrate through the asteroid itself. Space around the ship began to shimmer as reality bent under the influence of the quantum field. Drive is stable, Sam reported. We're achieving a quantum displacement of 0.7 light-years per minute. That's 3 times faster than Coalition standard drives. Ben felt a surge of pride and hope. The Liberty could outrun any Coalition pursuit ship. More importantly, it could strike Coalition targets before they had time to react or call for reinforcements. Elena's excited voice filled the communication channel. Excellent work, Ben. The other quantum drives at Facilities 9 and 14 are also showing positive results. We're ahead of schedule. The success of the quantum drive test was just one piece of good news. Over the past year, the secret construction project had grown beyond Elena's wildest dreams. What started as a plan to build 20 ships had expanded to include 37 vessels of various sizes and capabilities. Commander, Coalition inspection team approaching on Vector 7, reported the asteroid sensor operator, Lieutenant Nancy Cole. 3 ships, standard diplomatic formation. Ben felt his stomach tighten. Coalition inspections had become more frequent over the past 6 months. They claimed to be routine security checks, but everyone knew the aliens were looking for signs of human military development. Activate the holographic disguise, Ben ordered. Make sure the Liberty looks like a half-finished mining platform. The asteroid's advanced holographic systems engaged, creating the illusion that the hidden shipyard was actually a legitimate mining operation. The Liberty vanished behind false images of mining equipment and ore processing facilities. To Coalition sensors, Echo 7 would appear to be exactly what the official records claimed it was. Coalition lead ship is hailing us, Nancy reported. Ben opened the communication channel and put on his friendliest voice. This is Commander Taylor of the Echo 7 mining facility. How can we help you today? The Coalition inspection leader was a Viridian named Sub-Commander Kethmar. Like most of his species, he spoke in the slow, careful manner that humans had learned to associate with barely concealed contempt. Commander Taylor, we require immediate access to your mining facilities for a security inspection. There have been reports of unauthorized activity in this sector. Of course, Sub-Commander. We're always happy to cooperate with Coalition security. Please dock at Bay 3 and our staff will give you a complete tour. Ben switched to a secure internal channel. All personnel, we have Coalition inspectors on board. Remember your cover stories and stay calm. Maria, make sure the mining equipment is running at full capacity. Maria Santos had been transferred to Echo 7 3 months earlier to help coordinate the deception. Her experience managing shipyard workers made her perfect for running a fake mining operation. Under her supervision, the asteroid's legitimate mining section produced enough rare metals to satisfy any inspection. The Coalition inspection team spent 4 hours examining the facility. They checked production records, interviewed workers, and scanned for unauthorized technology. Ben guided them personally, making sure they never approached the hidden shipyard sections. Your operation appears to be functioning within acceptable parameters, Sub-Commander Kethmar finally announced. However, we have detected unusual energy readings from this asteroid. Ben's heart rate increased, but he kept his expression calm. That would be our new ore processing system. It uses a lot of power, but it increases our extraction efficiency by 30%. Show me this processing system. Ben led the Coalition team to a specially prepared chamber where Maria had installed legitimate ore processing, equipment that generated exactly the kind of energy signature the Liberty's quantum drive would produce. The equipment was expensive and completely unnecessary for the mining operation, but it provided perfect cover for the real energy source. Impressive human engineering, Kethmar said after examining the ore processor. Your species continues to find efficient solutions to industrial problems. After the Coalition team left, Ben gathered his senior staff in the hidden command center. That was too close. They're getting suspicious about something. Elena's voice came through the communication system from Mars. Ben, we've had similar inspection visits at 6 other facilities in the past month. They're definitely looking for something. Ryan Clark, who had been monitoring Coalition communications from his position on Earth, joined the conversation. I'm seeing increased chatter about human activities. They don't know what we're building, but they know we're building something. How much longer do we need? Ben asked. The Liberty will be ready for combat trials in 2 weeks, Elena replied. The other primary vessels need another month. But Ben, we may not have another month. Sam Mitchell looked up from his engineering console. Commander, I'm detecting multiple Coalition ships entering the asteroid belt. 12 vessels, military configuration, heading directly for our sector. Ben felt cold fear grip his chest. 12 Coalition warships was far more than needed for a routine inspection. This was a military operation. Elena, they're coming for us, Ben said into the communication system. Military force, multiple ships. I think they know about the project. Ben, you have to protect the Liberty, Elena replied urgently. That ship represents 6 months of work and our best hope for survival. Do whatever you have to do. Ben looked at his crew and made the hardest decision of his military career. All hands prepare for emergency departure. We're taking the Liberty out of here, ready or not. The hidden shipyard erupted into activity as technicians rushed to complete final system checks. The Liberty's quantum drive powered up for the first time under combat conditions. Ben prayed that Elena's revolutionary technology would work when humanity needed it most. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the HSS Liberty as 18 human warships dropped out of quantum space in perfect formation. 6 months of desperate preparation had led to this moment. The Coalition had discovered 3 of their hidden shipyards, but Elena Rodriguez and her team had managed to complete enough vessels to mount humanity's first strike against their would-be executioners. All ships report ready for combat, announced Communications Officer Lisa Park from her position at the tactical station. She had been promoted after her crucial discovery of Operation Cleansing Protocol, and Jake trusted her completely. Target is Kepler Station, Jake said to his crew. Coalition's primary naval base in this sector. Intelligence reports indicate they have 47 warships docked there, including the dreadnought Eternal Dominion. The human fleet had grown beyond Elena's original plans. The HSS Liberty led the formation, followed by the stealth ship HSS Ghost under Captain Amy Foster's command. The heavy assault vessel HSS Vengeance carried kinetic weapons designed to punch through Coalition energy shields. Most impressive was the experimental ship HSS Thunder, equipped with Dr. Rodriguez's quantum disruptor technology that could tear apart enemy vessels at the molecular level. Captain, we're receiving transmission from Admiral Wright on Earth, Lisa reported. Admiral Carl Wright's face appeared on the main screen. The old soldier looked tired but determined. For 30 years he had followed Coalition rules and restrictions. Now he was about to authorize humanity's greatest act of rebellion. Captain Morrison, the Coalition has accelerated Operation Cleansing Protocol. Our intelligence indicates they plan to begin the extermination process in 72 hours. This attack is our only chance to prevent the destruction of our species. Jake nodded grimly. Understood, Admiral. The fleet is ready. Remember, this isn't just about military victory. We need to show the galaxy that humans refuse to be victims. Other species are watching. If we succeed, they might find the courage to resist Coalition oppression themselves. The communication ended and Jake turned to his crew. You all know what's at stake. For 30 years, the Coalition has treated us like dangerous children. Today we show them exactly how dangerous we can be. The human fleet moved toward Kepler Station using a battle formation that no Coalition commander had ever seen before. Instead of the rigid line formations favored by alien militaries, the human ships spread out in a loose sphere that allowed each vessel to support the others while maintaining maximum flexibility. Coalition patrol ships detected, reported sensor operator Danny Hughes. 3 frigates moving to intercept. Signal the Ghost, Jake ordered. Let Captain Foster handle the patrol. The HSS Ghost vanished from sensors as its cloaking system activated. Elena Rodriguez had developed the stealth technology by studying how certain deep space particles could bend light and electromagnetic radiation. Coalition sensors simply could not detect a ship that wasn't reflecting any energy back to them. Minutes later, The Coalition patrol ships exploded in sequence as the Ghost struck from impossible angles. Captain Foster's voice came over the communication system with calm professionalism. Patrol eliminated. No distress signals transmitted. We still have the element of surprise. The human fleet continued toward Kepler Station, but Jake knew the easy part was over. The station's defenses included energy shields, automated weapons platforms, and the largest concentration of Coalition warships in this part of the galaxy. "Captain, Kepler Station is hailing us," Lisa announced. "Put them through." Coalition Admiral Zethkar appeared on the screen. The alien commander belonged to the Zeref species, known for their tactical brilliance and ruthless efficiency. His four eyes focused on Jake with obvious surprise and growing alarm. "Human vessel, you are in violation of the Treaty of Proxima Centauri. Surrender immediately or face the consequences." Jake smiled coldly. "Admiral Zethkar, we know about Operation Cleansing Protocol. The treaty is void. This is Captain Morrison of the Human Liberation Fleet, and we're here to discuss new terms." "Impossible. Humans are forbidden from building warships. You cannot have more than 12 frigates." "You're about to learn how wrong you are," Jake replied, then cut the communication. "All ships, attack formation Delta," Jake commanded. "Target their weapons platforms first, then the docked vessels." The human fleet struck Kepler Station like a carefully coordinated storm. The HSS Vengeance opened fire with its kinetic weapons, launching solid projectiles at nearly the speed of light. Coalition energy shields, designed to absorb laser and plasma weapons, offered no protection against chunks of dense metal moving at relativistic speeds. The HSS Thunder demonstrated Elena's quantum disruptor technology for the first time in combat. The experimental weapons created fields of quantum instability that caused matter to simply cease existing. Coalition ships didn't explode when hit by quantum disruptors. They just vanished, as if they had never been built. Coalition Admiral Zethkar watched his defenses crumble with growing horror. His species had fought wars for thousands of years, but they had never encountered enemies who fought like humans. Coalition tactics relied on formation fighting and gradual attrition. Human tactics seemed designed to create maximum chaos and confusion. "All ships engage the human vessels," Zethkar ordered. "Use Pattern 7 formation." The Coalition warships moved into their traditional battle formation, creating overlapping fields of fire designed to destroy enemies through concentrated energy weapons. It was a formation that had won countless victories against other alien species. Jake watched the Coalition ships arrange themselves and smiled. They're still fighting the last war. "All ships execute Chaos Protocol." The human vessels scattered in all directions, moving in seemingly random patterns that made targeting impossible. Each ship operated independently while maintaining communication with the others. The HSS Ghost appeared behind enemy lines, striking command vessels before vanishing again. The HSS Liberty used its superior speed to stay ahead of enemy weapons, while its own guns found their targets with devastating accuracy. "Captain, enemy reinforcements approaching," Hughes reported. "The Dreadnought Eternal Dominion and 6 escort vessels." Jake felt his heart rate increase. The Eternal Dominion was the largest warship in the Coalition fleet, armed with weapons that could destroy entire cities. If the human fleet couldn't deal with the Dreadnought, their rebellion would end before it truly began. "All ships, concentrate fire on the Eternal Dominion's main reactor," Jake ordered. "If we can cause a cascade failure, the explosion will take out half their fleet." "Captain, that's a suicide run," Lisa warned. "We'll have to get within their point defense range." "Then we better make it count," Jake replied. "Signal all ships. Today we find out if humans really are too dangerous for the galaxy." The 18 human warships turned toward the massive dreadnought in a final, desperate charge that would determine the fate of their species. News of humanity's victory at Kepler Station spread across the galaxy, faster than anyone expected. Within days, every species in Coalition space knew that the forbidden human warships had destroyed the largest naval base in the sector. More importantly, other oppressed species began to whisper about rebellion. Captain Jake Morrison stood in the command center of the HSS Liberty as reports flooded in from across human space. The Zeref Collective had declared independence from Viridian rule. The aquatic Nereid species had revealed massive underwater cities hidden beneath their ocean worlds. Even the peaceful Torvan people had begun building their own secret weapons. "Captain, Incoming priority transmission from Earth, announced Lisa Park. It's Admiral Wright. And he sounds urgent. Admiral Wright's face appeared on the main screen, but his expression was grim rather than celebratory. Captain Emperor Valdris has declared humanity a galactic threat. They're assembling the largest fleet in Coalition history. Over 3,000 ships heading for Earth. Jake felt his blood turn cold. 3,000 ships was 10 times larger than any fleet humanity could assemble. Even with their technological advantages, the human fleet would be outnumbered beyond any hope of victory. How long do we have? Jake asked. 2 weeks, maybe less. They're pulling ships from every sector, including vessels from the war reserves that haven't been active in centuries. Lisa spoke up from her station. Captain, Dr. Rodriguez is requesting immediate communication from the hidden research facility. Elena Rodriguez appeared on a second screen, her face streaked with exhaustion but her eyes bright with excitement. Jake, I have something that might help. Remember Project Prometheus? Jake searched his memory. The asteroid fortress project you mentioned months ago? It's finished, Elena said with a tired smile. We hollowed out asteroid designation Series 9 and turned it into the largest weapons platform ever built. It's equipped with quantum disruptors that can destroy entire fleets, plus manufacturing facilities that can build new ships during combat. Admiral Wright leaned forward in his chair. How many ships can this fortress handle? Conservative estimate? About 500 vessels before the weapons overheat. But Jake, there's something else. The fortress has another surprise built into it. Elena activated a holographic display showing the massive asteroid fortress. The entire structure is mobile. We built quantum drives into the asteroid itself. Prometheus can move anywhere in the solar system and strike without warning. Jake stared at the display in amazement. The fortress was enormous, easily the size of a small moon. Its surface bristled with weapons that could tear apart Coalition fleets. More importantly, it represented something the Coalition had never expected. Human engineering pushed beyond all reasonable limits. There's more, Elena continued. The other resistance movements across the galaxy are coordinating with us. The Zareth have 47 ships ready for combat. The Nereid can field 63 submarines capable of spaceflight. Even some Viridian military units are switching sides. Admiral Wright nodded slowly. It might be enough. If we can coordinate a simultaneous strike across multiple sectors, we can force the Coalition to split their forces. Admiral, incoming transmission from Emperor Valdris himself, Lisa reported. The screen changed to show the leader of the Viridian Empire. Emperor Valdris was old even by the standards of his long-lived species, and his ancient eyes burned with fury as he stared at the human commanders. Captain Morrison, Admiral Wright, you have committed an act of war against the lawful authority of the Galactic Coalition. Surrender immediately, and humanity will be granted a quick extinction. Continue your rebellion and we will ensure that your species suffers before it dies. Jake stepped forward. Emperor Valdris, humanity rejects your authority. We've learned about Operation Cleansing Protocol. You never intended to honor the treaty. The treaty was a temporary measure while we determined how to contain your species' aggressive tendencies. That determination has been made. Humans are too dangerous to exist. Then you're about to learn exactly how dangerous we can be, Jake replied, cutting the transmission. 2 weeks later, the Coalition fleet arrived at Earth in a formation that stretched across half the solar system. Jake watched from the Bridge of the Liberty as 3,000 alien warships moved toward humanity's homeworld. The sight should have been terrifying, but instead he felt a strange calm. All human ships, this is Admiral Morrison, Jake announced over the fleet communication system. His promotion had come through just hours earlier. Today we fight not just for our survival, but for the freedom of every species the Coalition has oppressed. Remember, we're not just humans anymore. We're the voice of everyone who refuses to kneel. The Coalition fleet advanced in perfect formation, confident that their overwhelming numbers would crush human resistance. Emperor Valdris commanded from his flagship, a massive dreadnought that dwarfed even the destroyed Eternal Dominion. Signal Prometheus, Jake ordered. The asteroid fortress appeared from behind Earth's moon, its quantum drives creating ripples in space itself. The Coalition fleet halted in confusion as they tried to understand what they were seeing. An asteroid the size of a moon, armed with weapons beyond their comprehension, moving under its own power. All ships engage the enemy, Jake commanded. The Battle of Earth became the stuff of legends. Human ships struck with precision and coordination that the Coalition had never encountered. The HSS Thunder led a squadron of quantum disruptor vessels that simply erased enemy ships from existence. Captain Amy Foster's stealth fleet appeared throughout the Coalition formation, striking command vessels before vanishing again. Prometheus demonstrated the full power of human engineering. Its massive quantum disruptors reached across space to destroy entire squadrons of Coalition ships. When enemy vessels tried to approach the fortress, automated defense systems launched swarms of fighter craft built in the asteroid's internal factories. The Zereth fleet struck Coalition supply lines, while Nereid submarines emerged from Jupiter's moons to attack from unexpected angles. Even some Coalition species turned against their own empire, refusing to participate in what they now recognized as genocide. Emperor Valdris watched his fleet dissolve around him with growing horror. "This is impossible. Humans cannot possess such technology." Jake's voice came over the communication channel. "We learned from the best teachers, Emperor. You showed us exactly what we needed to become." The battle ended when Prometheus targeted the Emperor's flagship with its primary quantum disruptor. The massive Viridian dreadnought simply ceased to exist, taking with it the leader who had planned humanity's extinction. With their Emperor dead and their fleet scattered, the remaining Coalition forces surrendered. The war was over, but more importantly, the galaxy had changed forever. Species that had lived under Coalition oppression for thousands of years were finally free to determine their own destinies. Jake stood on the bridge of the Liberty and looked out at Earth, still blue and beautiful despite the battle that had raged around it. Humanity had built warships when they were forbidden to do so, and in doing so they had liberated an entire galaxy.